Hello ASL fans, this is my second out of the box review. It's not really a box, but it's a game. They're called out of the box reviews basically because you can see it's right inside the shrink wrap. I learned some tricks also about how to focus my film or camera and get this thing so that it looks good. You can see everything. So much better than the second one, the first one, I'm sure. So what we have today is Winter Offensive Bonus Pack number 3. So Winter Offensive is an ASL tournament, and it takes place in the winter. I think it takes place in January, not sure. It's MMP's that's their major event. That's their big ASL event, and it takes place in Maryland, I believe. So let me just take a look at this first. I really like the artwork on the back. I think what I'm looking at is a German half track with the back door open, and a man standing right out, German soldiers sitting right outside the half track looking back at us. So also on the back it tells that 60% of the sales of this product are going to the World War II Foundation. Alright, we'll open the package now. I don't want to waste too much of all your time. Try and keep it under 5-10 minutes because I know that it hogs up your time and your internet connection. Alright, package is open. Alright, sheet number 1. That's the cover. Also has a scenario on the back. I'm going to just kind of try and go through the scenarios in order. Make sure that there's no other scenarios hidden in here. The back cover is blank on the back. There are 3 scenarios, Winter Offensive 6, 7, and 8. So Winter Offensive number 6, WO6, The Heat is On, takes place in Russia in 1942, January 42, so this would be during the first winter counteroffensive of the Russians. Not getting a feel, okay, it looks like it's near Leningrad. So we're looking at several tanks for the Russians, some assault guns for the Germans, the 88 anti-aircraft gun, very nice. Very good for punching through the armor of those KV-1s and T-34s, which the Russian have in their OB. It's a Russian exit scenario, and it takes place in the snow, so no surprises there. I love snow scenarios. I don't know, I just like the feel of it, especially on the Vassal boards where you can turn everything white. I really like snow. It's winter here in northern New Hampshire right now, and all kinds of, it's very white outside, and I just like it. I don't necessarily like playing in it, but I like the look of it. It's pretty. Winter Offensive number 7 is Hell for the Holidays. December 1944. I'm sensing a winter theme now. It is the Germans and the Americans. So December 44, we all know what happened then. Let's see. It takes place in Belgium. It's along the road to Wiltz. This is a Pete Schelling scenario. I know Pete Schelling, great guy. He's also a phenomenal scenario designer. I didn't bother to look to see who wrote the other one. The other one's Pete Schelling as well. All around nice guy, great ASL player, and really just an excellent designer. He has a really good eye for that. I definitely think that's an art form rather than, like just a scientific skill. And he's definitely got that flair for it. So let's see what Pete has for us. 2 boards. Ground snow is in effect, so this is just a little before Christmas in 44, so it's right after it snowed in the Bulge, and the the Germans have several tanks and assault guns and tank destroyers. Sorry, tank destroyers, not assault guns. Several half tracks. Looks like enough to carry their entire order of battle. And the Americans have the M4A1, the M5A1, M5A1. My eyes are beginning to age, and I'm beginning to see it, so I have to look now. M5A1. And an anti-tank gun, 3700. And their job seems to be to keep the Germans out of a town. So the Germans win by capturing stone buildings, and there's a CVP cap. I like games with scenarios with CVP caps. Forces you to conserve your forces. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Belgium, December 1944. We are complete with the winter theme. There is ground snow. Again, 3 ground snow scenarios in a row, so I'm getting a good dose there. This takes place at the same place as the last one. Bastogne has been surrounded, and let's see, looks like the Germans are attempting to do something here. Provided there's no one, okay, the Germans are trying to clear the Americans from a hill. And the Americans have an anti-tank gun with a half track and a crew that are going to come in from off board. I always like those because you have to like drive in under pressure and unload that gun, and people may or may not be shooting at you. And you have the decision, you know, where do I set up the anti-tank gun on the fly? Am I gonna have my am I gonna get it into good position, but I'll be getting fired on while I'm unhooking, or it's always the question. So let's see, this is the glider infantry from the surrounded Bastogne garrison. And yeah, that's basically it. This is yet another Pete Schilling design. Pete Schilling is the sole designer for Winter Offensive 3. And these scenarios are all using the newer boards. The new boards are 64 and 65. So let's look at 64. So this is board 64. See if there's anything interesting about this board. It's got some lumber yards in it. You don't see a lot of lumber yards. It's got a church steeple right here. And anything else yep, there's a little village street there. Nice little village, a little bit of village terrain. It's relatively open, but and there's a water tower here. So we're using some of the funky terrain that you see in some of the other some of the later chapters of Chapter B. Don't always get to play with it, so it's kind of nice. Nice manicured brush here. Let me see if I can get it so you can see that. The brush is in perfect squares. It's manicured. I think that's kind of cute. So hats off to the artist on that. And then another one with the manicured brush right here. This is board 65 now. Board 65 has a little valley here, and another valley here, and the valley terrain is much nicer here than it is in other boards, where the higher altitude, which would be level 0, does not bleed into the level -1. It makes line of sight a little tricky when you have the higher altitude bleeding into the lower level. Oh, gully with a cliff hex side, nice little pond hex side. That's the extent of the excitement. You can see that the boards are, and not that boards need to be exciting. Scenarios are exciting. Boards are boards. Here's something interesting. I'm noticing that the terrain, the roads don't line up. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try and show it. I assume this is intentional because you know, ASL is perfect, and but there's a let me find one in particular case that'll be easy, so I can fold the boards in half. See, the roads don't line up, and the terrain doesn't line up. So perhaps it's meant to go the other way. And as you would expect, look at that. Looks beautiful now. So these boards are meant to match up in a very specific way, and it looks like on the outer edges of these boards, they match up with their other geomorphic boards. So really, that's what I see in Winter Offensive Pack number 3. Look forward to playing it at some point. A lot of my play is on Vassal, so we have to wait for the boards to show up on Vassal if they're not there already. I'd be surprised if they're there already. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.